squish in. Good morning, my name's Lorene. Welcome to Books at the Bottom of the Stairs and on the Floor. And this is my husband, Steve. We're here to talk to you about our progress so far in the O.W.L.s, the levels for obtaining, for me, the position of an herbologist, and for you,
a want-maker.
So I have 3 O.W.L.s I need to achieve. And I was pretty lucky in that one of them is for a short book, so that makes it quick. And for you, you have how many books to read?
You have 3? I must have 5.
Yeah.
Maybe 7.
No, it's Potion Maker was, okay. No, Alchemist was 7. 5. So which ones have you been reading?
So I've been reading the Spoon River Anthology by Edgar Lee Masters. It's a story of a town, Spoon River in Illinois, on the Ohio River, I think, that is told entirely through poems inspired by the headstones of various characters from the town. So it tells the story of the people and tells also the story of the town. One that really struck out for me was Johnny Sayer, and his poem starts, "Father, thou canst never know the anguish that smote my heart for my disobedience." And it goes on, and then he talks about how on his headstone it's chiseled for him, quote, "taken from the evil to come," because he died young. And there are others that expose the secrets of the town, the power structure of the town, the hidden vices of the town, and also the hidden anguish of the town. One thing that's striking is that everybody's story is a story of regret or of discontent. And the only ones that seem to come through in with a sense of, having lived their life well are so transparently hypocritical that it undermines it right off the top.
So these gravestones, it's not from just a recent wave of deaths. It's something that's been accumulated over time?
Yes, the stories take place over probably 100 years.
Right.
So the different people have died over those time periods.
Okay.
And sometimes there's a father and a son, both with their headstones telling the story of their inability to get along from two different perspectives.
So it's certainly a satire in poetry?
Yes, it's in poetry.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, cool. And are you finished?
Not quite. I have, 5 pages to go.
So you almost have an owl. My book that was for heart, right? Because there was hearts on the
gravestones.
Cover. Yeah. So one of my O.W.L.s was to read something under 150 pages, and I chose Decline of the English Murder by George Orwell, which I thought was going to be something different. I thought it was going to be a little more academic, but it's 8 essays, and 1 or 2 of them are opinion pieces. The one that I'm reading now about Boys' Weeklies is sort of an examination of the different types of papers that were available to kids prior to 1950 primarily, and in this case mostly boys, although he does briefly recognize that there are girls in the world. But the first chapter is really hilarious. I think he's taking himself to... I don't know if he actually did this or not, but so it could be autobiographical, but as a writer, he's exploring what it's like to get into trouble with the police. More books on the floor. and so it's his efforts to get drunk and incarcerated and have to go in front of the magistrate, and it's pretty hilarious. So I'd say the first 3 are good to read. They're humorous. I don't really know that much about George Orwell. I think that maybe his personality is coming out of this much more than I realize, simply because I have no idea what his background is. So I might read a short biography on Wikipedia just to find out what kind of a guy he was. But he's very pro Boy Scouts, I think.
No.
Or opposite?
No, George Orwell was a socialist and fought for the... I guess the Republican side in the Spanish Civil War. He wrote books like Down and Out in Paris and London about living his life as a vagrant and minimal money.
Minimal money, okay. So yeah, so that actually changes my opinion on the chapter
Right.
I'm reading a little bit, because I thought he was sort of anti-communist, anti-socialist, but
Yeah, no,
it's
he
the
would
other
be
way
very, very much a critic of the kind of rah-rahness of the Boy Scouts.
Oh, yeah, so that changes. So there you go. A little
There you go.
information broadens one's horizons.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's it for my one of Owl. And the other one that I'm currently reading, but I think I'm going to be dangerous, and I think I'm going to not finish it. It's really boring. It's called Into the Forest, and I don't remember the author's name. I'll link it below.
But that's a Hollywood movie. How can it be boring?
It's so wretchedly boring. These two girls are 10 miles anywhere in the woods, and their dad has died with an accident. Mother had died off book, and they're trying to get through the last end of winter in a California winter it's not really that cold, it's chilly. There's minimal amount of food. They're certainly undernourished, but that's about all that's happening. And because I'm reading it on my computer as an ebook, and I don't really know how to manage the settings, I have no idea what page I'm on, and the thought of having to read another X number of mysterious pages is just making me think, I'm not sure what if there's 300 pages of this?
So you like to see the road to come when you're looking at a book.
I guess that's true. I do.
So-
I always thought it was about the lighting, but it's actually about the physicalness of, I'm getting to the end. I'm
Right.
past the worst part. So I might change that book out and go, that was for a book that started with the letter I, because we did that incorrectly. So I may switch to the letter M, as we're supposed
You
to.
could always go with the Imperceptibly Amusing Puns book to make up, because it's only about 10 pages.
Right.
So I also finished the book The Stolen Bicycle by Wu Ming Yi. It's quite a beautifully written book, and I think the translation is quite good. The original is written in a combination of, or it's meant to evoke a combination of Mandarin and Japanese and Taiwanese, and also some Taiwanese indigenous languages, as well as English. And the translation does a really good job of differentiating language, which I think the original was probably all published in Mandarin, but with other languages kind of implied by the sounds, like phonetically. So it's the story, the narrator, who is a fictionalized version of the author himself. The narrator's an author, and he's recounting a particular moment that starts more or less in the present, where he's trying to track down his father's missing bicycle that went missing 20-some years before, and in some way through finding the bicycle, finding his father, or at least finding out the story of his father. And it's kind of it's episodic. It's I would say like an epic, in the sense that like a Homeric epic, in the sense that he goes out into the world and keeps encountering people, and each person he encounters links him to another person. And in each encounter, he enters into both a different kind of presence and a different kind of present situation, and a different story of the past. One thing that was really striking for me about the book was the matter-of-factness with which it dealt with the complex history of Taiwan, where the book takes place, and its relationship to the mainland Chinese, and also relationship to its indigenous peoples, its time under Japanese occupation or colonization, and its complicated presence, and the complex filter of all these different cultures. I think two little quotes that I think speak to the book. One is when the narrator is working with an older bicycle mechanic, Master Huang, who had apprenticed at the age of 12 and had repaired bicycles for over 50 years. And he is watching Master Huang change a tire. And after he changes the tire, which the author wasn't able to do, or the narrator wasn't able to do, the mechanic says to the narrator, "Some mechanics need to cuss to get it in. That's the tire. I don't. I've got Kang Hu," he said, which is the Taiwanese version of Kung Fu, or mastery. And it's, I think one of the themes of the book is the theme of mastery, of Kang Hu, of people who in different ways master their skill, whether it's bicycle mechanics or leading elephants, or in the making butterfly-based paintings, or in the case of the author, pursuing stories in order to record them and share them. There's lots of elephants, there's an orangutan, and there's many, many bicycles, many, many missing bicycles, and many, many fathers, many of those who are missing, but sometimes there are extra fathers. So it's quite a remarkable book, I thought.
Oh, good.
And as rich in its story as the richness of the illustration on the cover.
Cool. And that one was for the owl where you had to have a white cover.
That's the white cover owl.
So you've just about accomplished 2 owls.
That's right.
And how many...
So I've almost caught up to you.
How many pages are in that book?
The Stolen Bicycle?
Yeah.
Stolen Bicycle was close to 400 pages.
Oh, jeez. And that took you a night to read? Or
No, it was about 3-4 days.
Have you started the other ones, or just...
I've got them racked up, yeah.
Yeah. The other thing that we did that has nothing to do with owls is that in our walking one, I guess this was after dinner yesterday, and as part of our exercise, we came across a box of forlorn books.
And we didn't have enough around the house. There's only 6 piles up to my knees. So...
We do actually literally have a pile up to Steve's knees that I had put out on the roadside thinking that the passing kids would like, but they're all sort of 1970s, 1980s books. And
80s or 90s.
Yeah, and nobody picked them up.
Nope.
Anyhow, we did pick up 2.
They've all got their screens.
This one is Green Hand by Lillian Beckwith, which is about a fellow who goes out to the coast of Scotland and ends up on a fishing vessel.
Right.
And so I guess that's why we picked it up, had a boat on the cover.
That's right.
And then the other one that was picked up was The Last Voyage of the Schooner Rosamond by Hakan Chevalier. And I put it down because I thought, well, if it's the last voyage, it's a bit like, you know how the story's going to end.
Yeah, that's right.
But Steve's like, pick it up.
That's
so,
right. Yeah.
It smells a little bit. No, actually it smells pretty good.
There's a little mold on the cover. We'll sort it out. Well, speaking of last voyages, even though I'm a guest on your vlog, I need to pay tribute to a sad thing. Because this morning I woke up to the news that singer and songwriter John Prine had died in the night of coronavirus. And for me, that's very sad news. John Prine's a really important figure in my musical life. And I'm just hoping that he got the chance that he hoped for, as in his song where he said, when I get to heaven, I'm going to shake God's hand and thank him for more blessings than any man can stand. And let's hope that we all get that many blessings.
Yes. Well, to you and yours, I hope you're doing well and staying safe. And we'll see you again next week with more progress on the owls. Take care of yourselves. Bye.
Bye.